don't need to plead the blood of Jesus. You don't need to call on Buddha. You don't need to call Muhammad. You don't need to speak in tongues. The laws that govern how things function in the earth realm, in the universe. Okay, so that's what I'll be sharing with you. Some people say, my life is not moving forward. Why my life not moving forward? Because you don't follow universal laws. There are laws that are just standard laws. It's like the law of gravity. So you go up, you must come down, all of that. But it's not gravity. That's not what I'm going to be telling you today. I'm going to be telling you about 4 very important universal laws that can help you navigate life on earth peacefully and probably reduce your prayers, because people are fasting and praying over things that Africans are generally very spiritual, which is a good thing, but we fast and pray sometimes over things that we don't even need to fast and pray over. So here are the 4 universal laws, and there are many other universal laws, but these are the 4 I want to talk about that are found personally to be relevant. The first law is a law of oneness, that everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected, everything is interrelated. So don't be saying that I'll give concrete examples to explain this particular law. Sometimes people think that their actions and the things they say, think, and do are isolated, but they're not actually isolated, because everything is interrelated. Everything is interrelated, so you need to be careful what you think, what you say, and what you do. Let me give you a good example. You get your phone now, it's an Android phone, and you go on the internet and you're writing sexual content, and you're just putting sexual content out there and talking rubbish and all of that. It becomes an issue. You might say, I'm just living my personal life and I'm not doing nothing to hurt nobody, but you're actually hurting the environment, because a child of about 18 years or 15 years might go and see your posts or your comments that are so sexually explicit, and they might get excited and aroused sexually. They go now and engage in sexual activity because their hormones are high and they cannot really control themselves and all of that, and they get somebody pregnant, and they pick up an infection, and they get into situations that they were not supposed to find themselves. You sit and say, I've not done nothing. You've actually done something, because it all started with you. Everything is interconnected. Let's talk about even with the climate. The people, they say use biodegradable plastic. You're like, no, the government is crazy. All of these government people just crazy. Now you're using plastic which is not biodegradable. You're using things that you want to use. You're polluting the environment. And now they're saying that fresh water is getting scarce and scarce and scarce because everywhere is being polluted. They tell you, still on climate, they tell you plant trees so that we avoid deforestation. You say, hell no. They say use cooking gas. You say, no, I'll still use firewood. I'm not saying if you cannot afford cooking gas, you should kill yourself, but when you cut down trees, you have to plant more. When you cut down trees, you have to plant more, because at the end of the day, you're just cutting and not planting more. You're taking and not giving back. At the end of the day, we'll end up with dry places and desertification and all of this. So we need to be able to understand that everything is interconnected. If you're not directly affected, you're indirectly affected. So don't be thinking that things that you do, you say, it means nothing to you. And that's why, especially with myself, I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I'm saying that when I'm out in public, I am very careful with what I say, especially when I'm around young ones, around children, around adolescents and youths. I chew my words, I bite my words, I make sure I don't talk disorderly, because I might pick up something and a mature person might be able to understand that, I know what Rafa is trying to say, but a child might not really understand it that way. So you need to be very, very careful with this law of oneness, that everything is interconnected, and what you do is not an isolated thing. It's something that can affect other people, and it will affect them directly or indirectly. The next universal law I'd like to share with you is a law of action. This particular law says that for you to get a reaction, you need to do an action for you to get this reaction. So basically, the way you can apply it to your life is that if you want to get things done, then you have to not just build castles in the air and talk about it, because some people feel that when you talk about things, it means that I hear people, they make plans all the time. I want to do this, I want to do that, and they talk about it so much so that it feels they have a sense of satisfaction even when they've not yet done it. So don't be talking about things, rather take deliberate actions that are intended to push you towards the direction that you want your life to go, and then you can expect a result.
So this is very, very important. This is a law that can help people who are procrastinators. They procrastinate, they never do things on time. They're like, oh, we'll do it tomorrow, oh, we'll do it some other time, and at the end of the day, all of us are growing old. I hear people say sometimes, they say, oh, enjoy your life because you don't know tomorrow. The truth of the matter is, if you don't take actions and plan for your future, the future will come and meet you. I promise you. People always say, oh, you don't know tomorrow, I might die today. They're still alive till today. They're alive today, and they're alive with all of the consequences of the inaction that they took yesterday. So you need to take actions, deliberate actions that push your life towards the direction that you want your life to be, without which you're just making noise and you're building castles in the air. That's the second universal law. You've got to take actions. I read journalism and mass communication at the University of Boy. I graduated with a batch of 2014. Hooray! And that was like the year. We had like 300 students that time. It was a big crowd. Our lecturers were sick and tired of us. So for those who know, they know. So we had a code during our years in journalism school. They taught us, they said, listen, if you want to get something done, go get it yourself. JMC, journalism and mass communication, that season, those years while I was in school, we had a motto. It was fight your war. That was the motto. Nobody's going to help you get nothing done. And this law of action and reactions is important for people, and they don't realize how deep it is, because there are people who feel that other people have to contribute into their lives. I've met people who say, oh, the family should contribute and give me money to do something with my life. Oh, my friends are supposed to help me. They feel like life has an obligation to help them. Life owes nobody nothing. If you want to move your life forward, it becomes your responsibility now to take actions, not just empty talking. Take deliberate actions that can shift your life forward. The third universal law is a very important law, and it's a law I like so much. It's the law of compensation. It says that whatever you give out comes back to you in larger quantity. For example, you plant a grain of corn. For those who know agriculture, you plant a grain of corn. It doesn't grow to give you just a grain of corn. It grows to give you cups of corn. Like the stalk of a corn can give like 2-3 cups of corn. And those cups of corn have lots of grains of corn on them. So that's the law of compensation. It's like the law. It's also called the law of karma. Whatever you plant, you're going to harvest. It's a very, very important law. It's a law that controls the universe, and you cannot escape from it. Okay? I'll give you good examples. My mother personally would always take in pregnant women. She just meets a girl on the road and say, why are you here? I'm pregnant. Why are you sitting along the road? Oh, my mother drove me from home. My boyfriend doesn't want me no more, and all of that. She would take in those girls and care for them and give them her clothes sometimes, give them food, stay with them. We have lots of pregnant women who gave birth at our house. And that time I never understood. I was offended, because now I was saying that why would these people not allow us to just be happy with our own mother independently and all of that? So, but she kept investing, and sometimes even some of those girls will steal from her mother. They'll steal her clothes, they'll steal some things at home, they'll steal lots of things. So it made me feel like when you do good, you become the prey. People prey on you and they exploit that to abuse your kindness. So I had like misconceptions and I had like suspicions about being kind. But when I grew up, I moved to political capital city Yaoundé. I encountered friends who accommodated me, and there were people that really helped me, and some friends helped me against the wishes of their own family members. And why will you be living with a grown-up? And why will you be doing that? They abandoned their friends, and they were not in good terms with their family members just because they wanted to help me. I've had people really help me, and they're like, I don't like your voice, I don't like your face, I don't like nothing about you, but I don't know, I just want to help you. I feel that it's my mother's karma, It's a karma. I've never been to a place and somebody says there's nowhere to sleep. I've been to towns when I know nobody there. I know nobody, and by some miraculous, I'm trying not to say God, or because some people might not believe in God, but it's just karma. It's a universal law. Everything you plant, it comes back to you. You treat people's children nice and care for people's children like my mother did, then the karma comes back on her own children. You mistreat other people's children. I'm talking about people who have like house helps and cleaners and all of that. You be treating people's children badly because you think that yours are too special. The karma is going to come back on your own children one way or another. That people who felt like they were invisible and untouchable and they had money, they feel like they have so much that their children can never be in lack. But I'm telling you the truth, a crisis can come up, your finances can crash, something can happen, and you find yourself in a situation where you'd never believe that you'd be. You better plant good in the lives of other people, because at the end of the day, you're going to harvest whatever thing that you've planted. I'll give you another very solid example about this law of compensation, because it's one of like my favorite laws, the law of karma. There are women that spend their early days, that youthful life, just dating married men and eating people's monies and breaking people's matrimonial homes. And if you ask them, why do you date married men? Are there no single men outside? They're like, no, men are scarce. I need to date a married man. And what does his wife have that I don't have? I've heard girls say that. What does his wife have that I don't have? What is she so special? Because she just had the luck to marry a rich guy. But most of the time, these women work hard to build wealth with their husbands. And you jump in and think that she's not valuable enough. She's not as sexy as myself. And what does she have that I don't have? You now eat this man's money. You now ruin his family. Because he comes home now late, there's matrimonial problems and all of that. And at the end of the day, these girls grow up too and then get married. And then their husbands too start cheating on them. That when they get into church and they're praying and they're calling the priest to pour holy oil on them, they're praying and God should just rescue them and these matrimonial issues and all. And you forget that you had planted the seed because you have been dating married men. And you have been sleeping around married men, and you have been exploiting people and just ruining people's families. And now it's time for you to pay. You cannot scam God. You cannot deceive God and say, oh God, save me now. But you planted those seeds for your own life. So it's important for us to know this law, for us to really understand these laws and put them into practice. It's the same thing. I'll give you another concrete example. I've spoken about my mother. I've spoken about girls that date married men, and then when they get married, they want God to save them from other girls. But you have planted the seed. The last example I really want to give is the fact that sometimes you raise children and you tell lies in their presence and you cheat other people, and tiny things like, oh, your neighbor sells firewood that has been splitted and then they tie in bundles and sell. You send your children to steal the wood. You send your children to steal from neighbors. You send your children to do things, and you answer phone calls. You give your children your phone and say, tell them I'm not around, and tell them I'm not available. All of that. You're training your child to be dishonest, and at the end of the day, it's going to rub up on you. You're going to receive a compensation for all of the training that you've done. In that, one day your child will also wake up and tell you a lie. One day your child will steal from you, and one day your child, and this is a time when parents jump up and say, we give birth to children, but we don't give birth to their heart. What is the problem? I cannot imagine that my child can do this, and blah 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 blah. But with the tiny little things that you've shown the child, you've actually taught them how to be dishonest, because children don't learn from the things that you say. They learn from the things that you do. And so if you're acting dishonest with people and you're acting crazy with people and all of that, they learn over time, and one day they're going to regurgitate it back to you. They're going to give it back to you, and you're going to be shocked, and you're going to cry, and you're going to be pleading the blood of Jesus. But it's all of the investments that you've made in the life of a child. The fourth and last universal law I'd like to share with you is the law of attraction. This particular law says that everything that is around you is a representation of what is inside you. Everything that is around you is a representation of what is inside you. I'll give you an example. There's this person that I had some dealings with. I'm not going to mention names. And the person said, I'm not sure you can respect rendezvous, and I'm not sure you can do this and can do that. And I told this lady, I said, I can respect rendezvous, I can do this and I can do that. She says, no, I'm not sure. And that all technicians are like that, and all people who work in this particular field of work are like that. And I told her, I said, listen, you must be a dishonest person for you to believe that everybody is dishonest. Because when you're honest, it's easy for you to trust another person. And so, but when you're dishonest, it becomes a little difficult, because now you feel like everybody's dishonest because you feel like it's normal to be dishonest. Okay, so it's important. The people you hang around, the way you behave internally will determine what attracts itself to you. Physics, the law, there's a law in physics that says that unlike terms attract, meaning that the opposite sides of a magnet or a magnetor. Now they say it, a magnetor. They say that the opposite sides of a magnetor or a magnet, they attract. But in real life and in universal laws, it's like terms that attract. It's not unlike terms that attract. You know, you know how they say it in English that birds of a feather flock together. The things that you attract to your life are as a result of the things that are in you. If there's dishonesty in you, you're going to attract dishonesty. If there's honesty in you, you're going to attract honesty, and good people are just naturally going to gravitate towards you. And even if bad people gravitate, your body will become like a repellent where you push away certain things. There will be situations where you will not find yourself because you'll be naturally uncomfortable by what you attract. What you normally are supposed to attract is going to repel the things that are not worthy to be attracted. So it's important for us to understand these universal laws, and you discover that once you understand these laws and find out ways in which you can apply them to your life, you discover that it becomes a little easier for you to live life. The laws again are the laws of oneness, that everything is interconnected and that nothing happens in an isolated manner, and whatever thing that you do affects other people around. Okay, there's the law of action, that you need to take actions if you want reactions or if you want things to get done. Don't fold your hands and procrastinate and just talk about things and you never really take deliberate actions to do them. You get nowhere. The next law is the law of compensation, is the law of karma, that whatever you plant, you're going to harvest, and you're not going to harvest in that same tiny quantity, you're going to harvest in a larger quantity. So be careful the things that you plant into the lives of people, be careful the things that you plant in society in general. That people who embezzle money from government, that people who steal, and that people who do all kinds of things. And you embezzle money from government to satisfy your personal needs, but at the end of the day, when society becomes hungry and unemployment and all of that, even the house that you build, you'll be uncomfortable staying inside because you're afraid that a bandit might come in. You know, if you exercise good and charity and all of that, you live in freedom and safety because you know that you've left the world a better place. So we should take care of these laws. And then the fourth and last law that I've spoken about is a law of attraction. In that it's not what is outside that is important, it's what is inside. Work on your inside, work on your core moral values, work on your principles, and develop yourself in such a way that naturally you begin to attract things that are positive, things that are worthwhile, and things that can make society better. My name is Rafa Godlove. You've reached the end of this video. I'm glad that you've reached the end of the video, and I hope that you've learned one or two things that can help guide you properly in life. Until next time, bye-bye.